you guys, welcome back to another vlog. My name is Leah, and this channel is all about providing motivation, clarity to all of you all who are interested in the nursing journey, or just curious about nursing and what we do as nurses. And so I just basically vlog my shifts and try to give you the real deal of what is happening in the life of a nurse. And if you are in the nursing field and you are a new nurse, and if you were anything like me, you understand sometimes there's a struggle in the new nurse journey. And so I actually have created some tips for you to help you navigate your new nurse journey. And so do yourself a favor and go to my stand store and download my guide that basically just provides tips on how to navigate your first 2 years of nursing so that you can thrive. So again, go to the link in my description and download the guide. Okay, so I have completed my head-to-toe assessment on all of my patients. The first thing that I do is actually, once I'm done getting my handoff report from the day shift nurse, I go into the first patient that I receive report on, and I go in and I complete a head-to-toe assessment. But not only do I complete a head-to-toe assessment, but me being me, I actually clean the room. I actually make sure things that are on the floor are off the floor, trays that were for dinner and for breakfast that are still in the room are out of the room. And then I also check my orders. My orders are basically a guideline to what the patient needs. So for instance, if a patient is hooked up to telemetry and there's no order, I take it off. And so here I am just cleaning the telemetry monitors, because there are a lot of people that were hooked up to tele that didn't necessarily have to have tele. And so I spend a lot of time just making sure everything that my patient needs or doesn't need is in place. Hey guys, I'm currently at work. I just got an admission, and I want to let you guys know, when you're getting admissions, to prepare as much as you can prior to the admission coming, meaning prepare the room, write on the whiteboard, zero out the bed, get linens and things that you need, so that when you're here, things can go smoothly, because you never know if things could go negatively for your other patients, and you want to eliminate as much things you can. And so that personally do my hair, I don't know what is going on. I use the do. Is that how you call it? The doots? Anyways, but that's one thing that I personally do, is I try to make sure that everything is done prior to the admission coming, so that I'm not going in and out and all these unnecessary trips in the room, because most of the time, especially at night shift, people are tired. They've been in the ED all day. They want to relax and whatnot. So that's what I personally do for myself, is just to make sure everything is together. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, I feel like I give a lot of pain medication, and it can be easy to forget the times that you last gave a pain medication, and sometimes the computer will not ding you. So just make sure that you are giving your pain medication to your patients at the accurate frequencies. So for instance, if they're getting it every 4 hours, make sure they're getting it every 4 hours, because we can sometimes be audited. So in the middle of our shift, we lost a PCA, so I had to do primary care on about 5 of my, I said 5.
about like 2 of my patients during blood draws.
Okay, so I haven't had like a real moment or a chance to get alone and be isolated to really like just tell you guys what's been going on. But today is Sunday. This is the only shift that I'm actually picking up this week, and I'm so excited because as a PRN nurse, you can choose when you want to work. And so I just need a break, and so I'm just coming in because this is one of the 4 shifts that I'm required to work. And you guys, I always say this, but I always pray before my shifts or whatever, and I was like, it's going to be a good night. I proclaimed it. And I would say that it's not a good night, but I have a lot of like difficult patients with a lot of things going on. When you're down a PCA, which means I am doing primary care on some of my patients, plus being nurse, which is already a lot. So it's just a lot that I have to do, but I'm realizing that in all the areas and things that I've done in regards to my career, it actually has prepared me for this moment. And so I want to basically push you all who are PCA that may be watching this, or early nurses, like push yourself to do skills that you normally won't be able to do. If someone needs a nurse to be a PCA, push yourself to go and do it, because it only makes you a stronger nurse so that you won't have to actually depend on, I guess, a PCA when you need blood draws, because if that's your hospital and the PCAs do blood draws. If not, you have a phlebotomist and you're blessed. But in my hospital, the PCAs do blood draws, and if the PCAs cannot, then the nurses do. And a lot of times we have nurses have to be PCAs. So push yourself to basically be able to do everything, all the way from PCA all the way to charge nurse in a unit, so that you can grow as a nurse. And so I'm thankful for the opportunity that I actually have pushed myself, and my job has pushed me to do all the areas of nursing, so that I am not crippled in what I have to do if we are down PCA and I have to be both PCA and the nurse. It is difficult, but just pace yourself and prioritize, which is key when you are a nurse, and it will all be fine. And if you desperately need help, just reach out to other people on the unit, specifically your charge nurse, and it will get done. Nursing is 24-hour care, and a lot of times, even if you don't have enough time in the 12 hours that you are a nurse for a patient, just know that it's 24-hour care, and just pick it up. Let the day shift nurse, or whatever, if you're day shift, let the night shift nurse do it. And that's what I'm learning. I'm learning now in where I am in nursing, not to put too much pressure on myself, to do the very best that I can. And if there's something that's beyond the time that I'm here, to pass it along, and that's it. That's it. We are human. We cannot do everything all the time. There's sometimes where things are just a lot, and sometimes in units, the patient-nurse to patient ratio is just ridiculous, like 6 to 1 nurse to 6 to 1. That's a lot of patients, and I know in some cases those that are watching my video are experiencing this, but it's a lot. And so don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't put too much of the load on yourself. Pace yourself, and if you can, find another place to work, because that's a lot. But yeah, all in all, it's a good shift, and it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, and things are winding down, and so I'm thankful, and I am off. And this is one thing I want to stress to you guys that are also watching this too. If you have the opportunity to take time off, if you have vacation, in order to prevent burnout and to actually, preserve your body, take your vacation, take time off, and love on yourself and do the things that you love, because your job will always be there. Jobs for nurses are just numerous because people are quitting, and there's always a nursing shortage. But take care of yourself. Invest in yourself and do the things you love. Try to schedule a vacation once a year, even if you can't go out of the country. Just do a staycation at home. You'll invest in yourself. So yeah.
Okay, so I had a patient who had an order for a 24-hour urine collection. When you actually have this order, get the specified container. Let the patient know that their first urine in the morning, to actually discard it into the toilet, get some ice, label the container, and put the time that you started the collection on the door. So I told you guys previously in the vlog that I was taking some time off. So here I am at a bakery. I went to get my eyebrows waxed, and I saw this bakery, and they had the zucchini bread, and it was so yummy. So yummy. And then the next day, my husband and I decided to have a day date. We went to this new cafe where we got some work done, and I just enjoyed the remainder of my time off during the week. So it's a new week already, and it's Sunday, and I am charge nurse tonight, and it's pretty slow night. So when I have a slow night, I like to think of things that I can't get done on a normal shift. And so there is a need for a new nurse binder, basically to help our nurses get acclimated to our floor because we have a lot of specific skills that we do on our floor. And my supervisor suggested that since I realized there was a need, that I create the binder. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Good morning, you guys. So, I just got off of work. I didn't do a lot last night, which is a blessing. I was just putting the pieces together because I was charged. I didn't have any patients, which is a blessing, so I got to focus on being charged. And I also spent some time just basically putting together a binder for new nurses. So, it is for my unit because I realized we didn't have one. And I don't know about you, but when I started my first nursing job, I've never been to a floor where they actually have a nurse, like a binder for new nurses to help them get acclimated into the floor, which has ultimately sparked the idea for, even if you know, your unit and someone doesn't, have the idea to make a binder, then you can make one on your own. So be on the lookout because I will be posting something for you all to make your own basically your own binder when you go to new units that you can basically use whenever you switch specialties and things of that sort. So be on the lookout because I'm very excited. This is something that I actually started when I first began nursing, and I actually now am making it into a template that you can download on your own, and also become a hard copy book. But I didn't do much. And so during this time, since I didn't have a lot, of nursing work to do, I was just kind of like managing and supervising and helping and assisting and being EBS. I did have some things to do for like my mid-year review of my manager, so I did that, and I completed all of my continuing education. We had like 20 to 30 modules, and I completed that. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and then I don't know about y'all, but I needed to brush up on my EKG, so I did a lot of time doing that. So it was a pretty productive shift in regards to like personally getting things done. And I would admonish you that if you do have things that you need to get done first education wise, when you have down days, don't just lollygag, like actually get stuff done. So I feel like I feel like I am an overachiever right now because things are done. So yeah, but I go back tonight. This is only shift 1 of 4, so I go back tonight, and I also go back Wednesday and Thursday. Yes. So, all right, I'll pick the camera back up when I wake up, you guys.
Okay, so here I am charting my head to toe assessment. Just a little pointer for you all. When I come into my shift, I receive report from the day shift nurse on all of my patients, and once I am done getting report on the last patient, I immediately go back into the very first patient that I receive report on, and I complete my physical head to toe assessment. I listen to their heart, their lungs, check for pain levels, all kinds of things, check their lines, all that, and I do that for all of my patients. And then once I am done that, you guys, that is my time to sit down and actually chart my head to toe assessment. I do that after. We are advised to do things in real time, but that necessarily is not the case. And then this night I was charge nurse, so I had a few other things to help out on the floor before I could sit down and chart. And so this is what I'm doing right now.
You guys, it is like 5:59. I am technically supposed to be leaving my house at 6:30 to go to work. But my daughter came home from school with a little bit of a fever, and so when children have fever, you're supposed to monitor it before you kind of take them in. And so I'm trying to keep her temperature low by alternating Motrin and Tylenol, and all I had was like 5 bottles of Motrin. Don't ask me how I had so many. can't articulate this in the correct way because I was there. But I want to say this to new nurses who are specifically on the med-surg floor, because that's where I work, that when you come to work and you are a new nurse, if you know that there are certain skills, certain scenarios, certain things that you have not encountered, do not stunt your growth by welcoming difficult circumstances. For instance, you have a patient who's admitted. They kind of come in with a abdominal pain. When we get them, the temperature's out of whack. They're just not right. Something is telling you that something is not right. Their vitals are kind of high, heart rate high, temperature high. Things are telling you, look, something's going on. Do not hesitate to tell your doctor. And if you need help, call for a stat nurse and your charge nurse, right? Don't just come out and just say something's wrong with the patient. Be specific. Say what you noticed, what the change was, and when and if, because most of the time if that's happening, that patient may need to go to the PCU or the doctor has specific orders. Do not run away. Do not take time to chart in the middle of all this, okay? If it's an ERT, someone else should be charting for you. You are the go-to person if a patient is declining, and you need to have all your information readily available. If that means that when you went into Epic before you started your shift and you knew about their history, you knew their cold status, you need to have that paper with you at all times, yo. And I'm only saying this because I was that nurse who I didn't know. No one prepped me on how to basically handle ERT or cold. You know, I was reprimanded after. And so I want you guys to walk into work, be confident, and welcome new experiences so that you can grow. Because ultimately we are there to help our patients, and you are stunting your growth and hindering a patient's life by not welcoming uncomfortable circumstances. You can't do that. You're not going to be a nurse. If you want everything to go perfect, then you need to go get a desk job. I'm serious. And I know it can be scary. I know it. But I think that what will release and give a lot of people much comfort and confidence is that you have help. There's always someone to help you. And I feel like whenever I'm in charge, I'm there to help. It is a heavy load sometimes being charged, specifically to new nurses and nurses that don't want to learn anything. But, you know, I'm not going to let a patient suffer in that manner. But yes, this is why I cannot wait, you guys, to get my material out to you all so that I can help you all who basically didn't have a nursing program that taught you these things. And to put yourself in uncomfortable circumstances, to challenge yourself. And if it's something that is, you know, too much for you, then you have to change jobs. You have to. Maybe that type of nursing is not for you. So, all right, I'll come back. Hopefully I have some things to vlog for you later. But it's going to be a good 2 shifts. And I'm going to stay home for a little bit because I need a rest after this. No more picking up shifts probably until like Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday.
Now I say your name without the pain behind it. I'm moved on now. I'm not trying to impress you anymore. Spending all this time trying to get you out my mind. Oh, it feels so good to take you off the pedestal. I don't know what I was thinking. Let it be more than drinking and going back to your place, never to see you again. That was simply delusion, followed up with confusion. That was just substitution for a lonely bed. So that's impressive, how much you're messing with my feelings in my heart.
So it's about 9:46 and I'm actually traveling to the unit to go grab some medications for a patient that actually just transferred up here. Sometimes meds don't come with the patient, so
Here I am gathering supplies because a nurse on another unit needed to have a lesson on how to administer peritoneal dialysis, and my unit that I work on is the unit that all PD patients come to, and in this case we did not have any beds, so the patient had to go to another floor, so I had to go teach her how to do peritoneal dialysis. Alright, so I'm going to the blood bank to pick up some blood for a nurse. I try my best to be helpful when I am charged, so here I am. And remember, when you are picking up blood, you have 30 minutes to actually administer that blood to the patient before you have to start all over again. So I have been having a difficult time during my shifts. My knees feel like something is grinding. My feet hurt. I'm just so uncomfortable. And so I realized slowly but surely that everyone is hip to the Hoka game. And you guys, I went out this day and I went into, I think this was Dick's, and I asked them to just give me every size 8. I tried to find the best shoe that kind of matched my scrubs, but I also am just looking for something that is comfortable. And I think it's been about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks that I actually purchased these sneakers, and you guys, the hype is real. They are amazing. I do not have any issues with my knees. I feel like I can actually walk for like a whole week in these shoes and not be tired and not feel like an old woman. So if you're looking for a comfortable shoe, they are a little bit expensive, but they're worth it. I would suggest you go out and buy a pair.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. All right, 7:30, end of my work week. I work 4 shifts. I'm tired, and it's really bad to the point that I'm so tired that I can feel it in my chest. Like my body's like, you need to go to sleep. Like sleep at the regular time, sleep, that type of sleep. So I don't go back till Tuesday. I actually only work 20 hours next week, which is not a lot. But this was an interesting week. Charge like the whole week. The whole entire week I was charged. But I made it through. I made it through. I made it. I made it through. I made it. I made it. I made it. I made it through. I made it. I'm tired. So anyways, I don't even know what to say, but I can just say that every time that I'm charged with something that I learn, I either make a mistake for staffing because things are always changing, but it's nothing like, oh my gosh, you don't need to do this job anymore. But I'm always growing and learning, and there's something that I can always find to do to improve my role as a charge nurse. But I can say the downside of trying to be charged or being charged, I am sometimes like a very introverted, stay to myself, like I need to be to myself type of person, that when people try to talk to me during my shift when I'm charged, especially during my lunch or my breaks, I am so annoying. And I'm so tired I can't even talk the way I want to talk. But anyways, guys, this was a good shift. These were good shifts, and I'm blessed and